Well, hello there. I'm Nodrasta, and I have returned, this time, to Ace Attorney Investigations again. It's been a few days since I've played it, and this time, well, why not continue, I thought, after all. Ace Attorney Investigations is a game I intend to completely, well, not just Ace Attorney Investigations, but the Ace Attorney Investigations collection is something I intend to complete here on stream. So, there it is. And with that, well, I hope you're like someone like me, solving puzzles, being potentially incompetent on account of weird translations, and last but not least, most likely very bad narration and voice acting. Because, well, I will do that, and I will hopefully not annoy the shit out of you for that. So, let's continue. If I remember correctly, I did complete the first case, which was surprisingly long, of Ace Attorney Investigations 2, Prosecutor's Gambit last time. So, if I'm correct at that, we'll start with the second case. Onwards! Ah. This is right. Did I really not entirely complete it? Let me just check. Yes, apparently I didn't even complete the first one. Huh. Well, that's... I could have sworn I completed it. Well... It has been a few days, as you can see. Well, honestly, it has been a few too many, considering last time apparently I played almost 20 days ago. But well, in that case, let's complete the first one and then continue to the next. But really, I could have sworn I did that. But, well, yeah. So, hopefully I still remember what happened, because I didn't intend for such a long break in this and somehow managed to completely fumble this. There's no denying it. Forensics prove that a gun and a bullet are a match. The bullet that killed Rook was fired from the gun you found in the spectator area. So, who pulled that trigger? It can't have been me. I was up on stage, which leaves your little friend here. The hack killed Rook. She's the murderer, and you just proved it. Alright, it was late and I needed to do something, so that's why. Oh, also, hopefully everything is good with audio here. I hope if I go enthusiastic with all of that, I will not overpeak here. So, you'll move Edgeworth, but just remember two things. One, where you found that gun, and two, which gun the fatal bullet came from. Whichever way you look at it, I can't have been the shooter. God, how did it come to this? Me and the president, we admitted to faking the assassination attempt. Now it's your turn to admit something. Who the killer really is. There's no way Tubby did it, is there? Don't let him get to UK. We just need to go over his statements again. There must be something further we can deduce from them. Okay, let's do this, Mr. Edgeworth. Rebuttal. And straight into the thick of it. Oh, right. This was not too long prior to Iron Nest getting released, and I seemingly was that on a Friday when I played last. It would fit the schedule I usually do if Iron Nest were to release within just a few days after that. But, well, we are straight into the thick of things. So, well, I guess I should go for a bit of a recap on what happened last time. So, in case you don't remember, or in case you've joined here for the first time, this is the first case of prosecutor's gambit, and it starts with an assassination attempt on a president. A foreign president has come to the nation. Supposedly it's the USA, but as we know in this case, California has a striking resemblance to Japan. So, yeah, that is the long and short of it. So, overall, when it happened, we found a gun close to the stage where a speech had to be prepared. And there was a rather noisy reporter who tried to get a big scoop out of it. Through our investigation, we managed to deduce a few things, which in the end led to said reporter being accused of attempting to assassinate the president and murder of one of his bodyguards. A rather unlikely ally allowed us to, well, get the drop on all of that so we can disprove that theory. And said ally was none other than Shelley the Killer, a professional assassin who, well, after having one of his assassination attempts thwarted by the victim of his entire endeavor, did seemingly grow somewhat fond of that bodyguard, and therefore, despite still trying to assassinate that president, uh, tried to assist us in getting to the truth of that murder. We successfully managed to somewhat at least get all of that back on the road by proving that this was, despite being an assassination attempt on a foreign president, not a situation where, well, special privileges on account of, well, the plane, which would be counted as in a similar way to an embassy, extraterritorial rights, it was called. Um, that in this case it was a local situation. We also came to the conclusion that this here, Mr. Knight, may have been the one to shoot his own colleague in an attempt to, well, in an attempt to pretty much assume the position that his colleague was in. We had already proven that it was Mr. Knight who did, in fact, fire a gun on stage in order to simulate a fake assassination, and therefore started the entire thing. Though right now, forensics apparently deduced that the bullet that killed his colleague, Mr. Rook, did potentially come from the gun we found outside. The gun had been fired twice, and all of that, or at least it looked like it had, leading to this situation right here, where the reporter is once again in the crossfire, and our, well, Mr. Knight here, probably the bodyguard with the worst firearm safety I've ever seen, is currently trying to pin the entire crime on her. Honestly, I may have forgotten quite a lot about all of that, though I hope it will come back to me, considering that I am at a pivotal point in this case right now. I could have sworn I already did this, but either, well, I suppose I didn't. So, now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's continue and make sure that the knight faces the sword. There's no denying it, forensics prove that the gun and the bullet are a match.
Hold it!
Can you elaborate? No, that...
Objection!
What was it you said? That forensics were to back you up? How does it feel to be shot in the chest by your own conclusive proof, huh? Not so good, I imagine. Well, the gun are a match, Mr. Edgeworth. Kinda has to mean that Tabby pulled the trigger, no? Even so, I simply cannot accept that.
But, sir, that's not denying the evidence.
There isn't. So what am I missing? If I assume Miss Lloyd... Oh, right, that was her name. The report, I mean. If I assume Miss Lloyd to be innocent, then the gun and the bullet should be matched. What is it, Kay? I was just thinking. If you have evidence points to something that does seem possible, then maybe there's something wrong with it. You're asking me to call the evidence into question. Well, there's no way Tabby did this, right? So if the evidence says that she did, then the problem must lie there. You seem very sure about this. Call it my great piece intuition. Intuition? So she could be right. I simply don't believe Miss Lloyd to be a malicious liar, which means... As someone who believes that evidence is everything in court, the irony is not lost on me, but... If I were to call a piece of evidence into question, it would have to be... Well, I kind of didn't expect that to happen here. They did pull the bullet out of the place I said it would be, so the gun would be the one thing here that had to be called into question. However, it could be neither of them. I wonder if neither of them is wrong, or if neither of them just is to not interject right now. Question is, when was that gun placed there? Let's take a look at things, shall we? This was the gun that was found. With probably the worst position for a laser pointer ever conceived on a gun. 2 shots had been fired, so there is a chance that it may actually be the gun. Question is, when was it found? That was the bullet I found, and it was embedded into the wall of security monitors. It appears to be the bullet that killed Mr. Rook. So... neither of them. There are no other suspect. Are there no other suspect pieces of evidence? I wonder. I'd say your prosecutor's badge is looking pretty suspect right now. I didn't know they made fakes that yet. Okay, so that... honestly, this is the first time in investigations 1 or 2 where I just got pressed into something by pressing something. Well, I'll have to live with it. I'm missing here let's return to the testimony of Mr. Knight. I want to hear more about the bullet in the gun. The bullet that killed Rook was fired from the gun you found in the spectator area.
Hold it!
Hopefully I will not get pressed into
Objection!
everything. No, you hold it. You're the one who proved this. Why are you saying that forensics was wrong? The bullet had victim's blood on it, which means it must be the one who that took his life. And it does seem to have been fired from the gun we found in the trash area. And you just love this? Your face, Mr. Edgeworth. What a picture. Yuck. Of a man on dire straits, yes, well spotted you. Let's just agree that the facts are what they are and move on. That gun fired a fatal bullet. So, who pulled the trigger?
Hold it!
That is a question. Yes, it is. Yes, who indeed? Still, can't bring yourself to admit the truth, huh? I get it. I was in your shoes a few minutes ago. Burned up on the inside, you know, made me up on the inside, you know, made me really want to shoot someone. You know, you would think that admittance of intention of murder is not exactly something you should say in that, well, in that position. Sorry, it's no laughing matter, I know. But we both know who really did shoot someone, don't we? It can't have been me. I was up on stage with which leaves your little
Hold
friend. What proof is there that Miss Lloyd fired the gun? What proof? How about the forensics you ordered? They didn't find her prints though, did they?
Yeah. The only prints I thought were yours, pal.
Objection!
From when I confiscated the evidence properly. Anyway, say it wasn't Miss Journalist, who was it? 'Cause it can't have been me. Your investigation put the shooter in the spectator area, didn't it? Good. Are you ready to admit it yet? All the evidence points in that direction. The hack killed Rook. She's the murderer, and you just proved it.
Hold it!
Holding? That's not what I proved at all. Oh yeah? So what did you prove? Still trying to make this about how I fired the first shot? Sure, you proved that, and I admit that. But so what? You're forgetting that you're here to do one thing and one thing only.
Oh, you got it right to uncover the truth.
And you think... reading your country's relationship with junk fair is going to do that. No, your job is to solve an attempt at assassination, nothing else. I'll decide what my job is. Thank you very much. You don't get to tell me what to do. Now sure, let the trail go cold while you flip your wig over who gets to say what to who. Sorry? Well, I really thought it wouldn't come to this, but it seems I may not have strained my voice too much in the last few days, but it's still rather taxing on it here to talk. I may really need to go and find some ways to train my voice a bit better. You could finally do the right thing and admit that your little friend is guilty. Never. You're the guilty one here, there's no doubt about it. The markings on the bullet are consistent with those left by the weapons from the trash can. But if Mr. Knight were to have tampered with the gun somehow, he could have only done it once I handed it over to the evidence and not a moment earlier. Is there anything we can do, Mr. Edgeworth? There must be something. No reasoning thus far has been sound. I'm sure that, which means we can overcome his, his defenses this time as well. Really? Even with the forensics results on his side? If a test is untruthful, there's always a contradiction to be found. Let's listen to what he has to say for himself one more time. Well, I do have a rather striking idea here. If all of that was planted, well, all guns provided to the security detail, that much I remember, are exactly the same model. With modern production, that would mean that its components are interchangeable. So, even though the forensics came back with, well, with that comparison that the bullet and the gun are a match. With considering that usually there is a barrel insert that would have left those markings, I suspect once we returned the gun to Mr. Knight, he could have easily swapped out some parts for one of his guns. We know, after all, that he usually carries two at least. So, even though we already noticed early on at that two shots have been fired from that gun, simply swapping barrels would immediately have it look like another gun fired it. So, once again, to pressing it here.
Objection.
We already saw that. And that is when we got stumped into all of that. Well, like I said, most likely object here is the gun, since the security detail always gets issued an entire set of guns, all of the same making. And the gun we found in the trash can is of the same model. Well, that would mean that the components are interchangeable, and therefore it would be easy to just swap things around. There's a rather good chance, for example, that the gun we got back from Knight is in fact an entirely different gun, with simply the laser pointer swapped over to a different one. Otherwise, if it's a little more complex, he swapped out the barrel, and with that we would suddenly have the markings of another gun. Something untoward is going on here. It would have to involve the weapon, not the bullet. After all, we only just recovered the bullet a little while ago. Furthermore, we know that Mr. Knight had an opportunity to handle a gun. Now, hand over the evidence you have gathered and remove yourself from this place. I'd do it as he says if I were you, Edgeworth. Here. This can't really be the end of the line, can it? Indeed, he had ample opportunity. There's no doubt that this gun is the weapon that was used in the crime, which means it must belong to, well, most likely belong to Mr. Bronco Knight.
Take that!
The gun belongs to Mr. Knight. He switched them around. That has to be it. What's wrong with my throat right now? Well, we have an update on the revolver. And I will just take a moment to get a coffee, maybe even with a bit of cream in it to soothe my throat a bit. If at least that works. I'll be back in a minute. Right, I'm back once again. And I know that, of course, that coffee isn't exactly the best thing to soothe one's throat, but it is what I just had available, so let's try it. So far, so good. Alright, let's continue. The bullet that killed Rook was fired from the gun you found in the in the spectator area. I wonder. I wonder if this is literally just what is needed here. Simply put, we pressed everything, called it into question, came to the conclusion that he had opportunity to swap the entire thing. So, who pulled the trigger? Answer, you. I suspect either this or this with another point would be the right thing to do.
Objection!
And who... what do you have to say about this, huh? And it's wrong. Come on, you're a chess guy, you know the rules as well as I do. Of course I do. This evidence is... Gotcha! Once you touch a piece, you gotta move it. And you just made the wrong move. Own it, Edgeworth. I didn't. But the game believes I did. No then, I did press everything. So there is a very good chance that I'll just need to present the gun at the right point in all of this here. The only question being, what point is it? I'm kind of surprised that it's not the it's not the point where he asks who pulled the trigger, considering that in most cases so far in Ace Attorney investigations, answering direct questions was the solution that would work. Well, let's see if this here is the right point. Unless, of course, there are completely different things I need to present, but let's try it again. Yeah, this point is the correct one. Admit it, you switched the guns, didn't you, Mr. Knight? That's why the markings match the weapon in question. It was yours all along. Heh. And a tricky move there, Edgeworth. And you must have made the switch when I handed over the evidence. While I was busy trying to make the case for remaining on the investigation. You took the laser sight from the gun we found in the trash can and put it on your own. And not long after, you handed that gun back to us instead of the one we found. Did I, huh? You think I somehow knew you'd find, let alone run forensics on that bullet sometime in the future? Is that so strange? You're a chess player after all, a man well used to thinking several moves ahead. Buddy, that thing's loaded. I'm flattered, but much as it pains me to admit it, you're overestimating my abilities. Besides, do you even have any proof that I made the switch? Well, you may be completely haphazardly handling one. After all, there were few people and some fingers that touched the gun we used. Or not we used, that we found. So it's not a question of there not being the fingerprints of, well, Miss Lloyd there. there is the question of the fingerprints of someone else being there that should never have touched your specific weapon. However, let's see what he has to say. The gun is the same model as mine, we're sure. That is just a coincidence. And look, there's a laser sight attached. Also, take a look at the cylinder, 2 spent bullets, just what we'd expect to see. So, what proof do you have that I switched the original gun out for mine, huh? None. That's what. You say I'm overestimating your abilities. You surprise me. What can I say? I'm a modest guy. More modest than you, that's for sure. Everywhere except at the chessboard, that is. Well, I didn't see a chessboard here, do you? Shame. So, guess that gives you a nice excuse. I didn't mess up, I just didn't have the right evidence. I don't think I'll be the one to making excuses. Rather, I didn't mess up. I just got lucky with the evidence. Will be your excuse, I imagine. Sorry. Gun is the same model. Yep, we just got that. Let's press it.
Hold it!
The coincidence, you say? Or was it a necessity?
Can't be both, pal.
Sure it can. We bodyguards need to protect the president. And the girl needed to use a gun, but she probably doesn't know a whole lot about him. It's not too far-fetched for her to pick something she's heard of that we also happen to use. That's honestly surprisingly sound logic. Okay, but why a revolver? Why isn't that your go-to gun? It's probably something to do with its ease of use. No spent casings to chase down, for example. Exactly. The perfect tool for a job where you can't afford to fail. Or don't know what you're doing. Still, coincidence necessity doesn't make a whole lot of difference either way. And look, there's a laser sight attached. Yeah, I believe that is true, and the laser sight is rather easy to detach as well.
Hold it!
Because you swapped it on them. Put up or shut up, Edgeworth. Where's your evidence? Well, that is... You'd go making accusations you can't back up. But did your daddy never teach you that? I'll have you know, Edgeworth's father was an attorney, and a good one at that. As it stands, the facts are in my favor here. Also, take a look at the cylinder, 2 spent bullets, just what we'd expect to see. Please elaborate. For me to ask, actually. What about your own weapon? How many spent bullets are in its cylinder? This old girl here? Oh, well now... I let loose a few rounds earlier, as you saw. You lose his gun every time he fires it. But even if I were to tell you how many there were at the time, you'd have no way to... you'd have no way of verifying that. Of course, in order to swap the guns properly, he'd have to maintain the right number of bullets per gun. He didn't have a chance to put on any glass, though, which means... Alright, I think it's about time you did the right thing and resigned, don't you? Game's all but done, see? So, what proof do you have that I switched the original gun for mine? None, that's one. No, that's an interesting thing. If he did swap it, then there should be fingerprints on the casings, on the spent ones at that. But let's first press this one here.
Hold it!
Prove it. Something you clearly don't have. If you did, you'd have made your move by now.
Where do I throw, right, Miss Edgeworth?
We won't be given a chance to investigate any further. I'll have to work with what we've gathered. Think, Miles, think. Consider all the possibilities. If you've got the goods, it's... If you've got the goods, it's now or never. How are you supposed to prove he switched the guns? Unfortunately, we don't have any direct evidence of his wrongdoing. But that in itself is proof of a kind. Because otherwise, the striations shouldn't line up like they do, right?
Oh, that was gumshoe.
Right, we must carefully consider and infer what we can from the evidence he brings up in his testimony. The truth is in this somewhere. Well, I'd say these casings specifically may very well be the important part here. Can I take a closer look here? Well, this is just what we already heard. So, now there's the big question. It's either this or it's this. And I suspect it's the weapon itself that we need to use here. The two spent bullets are particularly interesting because if he really swapped out things just as we were talking with him, then well, those bullet casings would have his fingerprints, wouldn't they? So let's try it.
Objection!
Apparently, this was wrong. Hey, there's a lot more water than your pathetic rebuttals, Edgeworth. Okay, Kip, guy, yeah. If I need to read deeper into all of that, or I simply put the wrong place. So, let's try it again at that point here, because it is in... Well, he does go for absolutes, which is also oftentimes a red flag in this game, these games.
Objection!
Well, the sound is gone, so I suppose I did get the right point. I have your proof, right here. That's your proof. I think you've been working too hard, Edgeworth. Not the gun itself, the evidence it carries. Evidence that will prove, once and for all, that it does in fact belong to you. I'm looking forward to this. Go ahead, make your move. What about... what's about to come into play? The rook, the bishop, not a pawn, surely. Ironically, calling the bullet itself a pawn is rather fitting, isn't it? It's used in the front lines, to be spent in order to open up an opportunity. The evidence the gun will provide in the form of, well, not directly the gun itself, but the casings in form of fingerprints. fingerprints, namely your fingerprints, Mr. Knight.
Objection!
My prints. Of course my prints are on the gun. You handed it right to me when you gave up the evidence. How could they not be on there? Yeah, and by that you already made a rather massive blunder, considering that needlessly placing fingerprints on some evidence is, if I remember correctly, already a bit of a violation when it comes to handling them, isn't it? Well,
Objection!
what if I told you there are prints on a part of the gun that you shouldn't have touched at any point? What? Where? You can't prove that. Oh, but I can. There's a place where your fingerprints could never have been left, if things happened, as you say. Allow me to present a plain piece of evidence that will bring our game to its rightful conclusion. However, I will right now point at the right position, but for some reason, I really have to use the bathroom. I'll be back in a second. Alright, take care of your bodies, make sure that everything's alright, and you will not have to take breaks like I do. Though, well, at least the weather is starting to get a little more comfortable than last time I played this year. But, no, back to it. Can you see the point I believe is important? It is rather hard to see. So, let's present it. Here, look closely at the cylinder, detective.
2 bullets fired. But where are the prints we're looking for, sir?
Directly on those bullets. You did indeed switch the guns when I handed you the evidence, but if that were all you had done, your deception would have been easily detected, because the number of bullets fired by each gun was different.
There are 2 spent bullets in the gun we found.
Yeah, but what about Mr. Knight's gun? We know that he fired 2 bullets from his... We know that he fired 2 bullets from the stage onto the balloon. and he fired another bullet into Mr. Rook, ending his life. So, 3 bullets in total, plus the few odd ones he let loose in shock during our little game. And after each shot, he reloaded his gun out of habit. With his bare hands, of course.
Yes.
Officer, where exactly were Mr. Knight's fingerprints found? The ones you mentioned in your report. Sir, they were found on the exterior of the weapon, but also on the bullets themselves. I'd like to put into question the competence of forensics for not stating that the bullets inside the gun had fingerprints of Mr. Knight. That's a rather important detail, wouldn't you say? Sorry for that. I feel like I have a bit of a frog in my throat right now. And currently I do not have anything to really get rid of that. I'm not sure they could have gotten there just from me handing you the evidence, Mr. Knight. Also, can we please acknowledge that this plane buyer now has gotten about 5 additional bullet holes simply on account of him mishandling his gun? That's... And there we have it. Proof that you did indeed switch the guns. This gun, the one which fired the bullets that killed Mr. Rook, is yours. And in taking his life, you are the true assassin. I didn't, Checkmate. Oh no! Where did all of those objects come from? Also, I could have done this last stream, but I believe, well, last stream I did play this, but I believe I was under relatively heavy time constraints back then. I was going to be the new chief of security. That blasted Rook. If it hadn't been for him, he would have been charged by now. I would have been in control of the whole team. My plan was perfect. A fake assassination was supposed to be flawless. Detective Gumshoe.
Right away, sir.
Curse you, Edgeworth! Our game isn't over yet. I'm afraid this is as far as we go for today. The next moves we play will be in the courtroom. Wait, there's something I could use to potentially help my throat a bit. Just a moment. Let's see if this helps. It's a bit of candy. Honey-based candy, to be exact. Maybe Well, maybe this will get my voice a bit better. So, back to it. Yeah, the next moves we play will be in the courtroom. But it's not fair. It's not fair. Well, hopefully sound is okay right now. So, March 25th, 5:12 p.m. Good Lake. Lakeside stage. Mr. Edgeworth, I owe you a debt of gratitude. You exposed the murderer within the ranks of my own personal guard. I will not soon forget that. He's suddenly very presidential again. That we're back outside the plane. I saw it, you know, when I first proposed a fake assassination to him. You want me to handle it, not Rook? Rook refused. But I can rely on you, can't I? Of course, sir. You can count on me. I put together a plan that can't possibly fail. And he'll play his part like the pawn he is. The hatred in his eyes was plain to see. He despised poor Rook. I was not entirely comfortable about moving forward with Knight in charge of our little deception. And looking back, I think he sensed my discomfort. I can't help thinking I played a part in his decision to end Rook's life. Mr. President, none of this would have happened if you hadn't plotted to fake an attempt on your own life. That was your crime. And it is a crime you will have to live with. You are right. I can only apologize for the part I played. And I will no doubt be made to pay for my actions in one way or another. But I thank you nonetheless. You solved the riddle of Rook's demise, and for that I shall be eternally grateful. I will be here in your country for a little while longer yet. But when I have returned home, perhaps you will visit us in Jungfair. You will always be welcome. What did I give her in terms of voice? Oh, thank you. Y'all didn't know how grateful I am. Oh, that's well. Miss Lloyd, the accusations of murder made against you was, of course, entirely groundless. But the fact remains that you were a willing participant in the staged assassination attempt. The police will no doubt wish to speak to you about the matter. You should be aware that you may well be punished for your actions. Oh no, and I'm awfully sorry about everything, truly I am. I understand your desire for a scoop, but there are limits. There sure are. That got me some serious thinking to do. You did it, Mr. Edgeworth. That was something else. Local prosecutor solves assassination conundrum. Earns eternal gratitude of president. That's that for a headline. Hey, that's my department. Mr. Prosecutor, how does it feel to solve such an important case? You must be over the moon. She certainly doesn't stay down for long. No comment. Ah, dang.
You want, you want tight-lipped such a son of a gun.
As well I should be. This case is not over yet.
It isn't. How come, sir?
Because until we unravel the story behind this, the case will never be completely over. Well, a story most likely behind Shelley the Killer's involvement.
Take that!
The Killer's calling card! Mr. the Killer has yet to complete his assignment.
You mean he must? I mean you might still try to murder the president.
I hope I'm wrong. But if I'm not, this could all blow up into something more sinister yet. As one would expect with the with this attempted assassination of a president, the case was all over the news. And my preparations for Mr. Knight's trial were constantly interrupted by requests from the press. There wasn't a person in the land who didn't know about the case. Everybody was talking about it. But in the midst of the frenzy that followed, nobody noticed that this was one of the first moves in a game far bigger than any of us could have imagined. Well, despite this having taken almost an hour, oh, that's my fault for it having taken this long. I could have done this in another stream prior to this. Well, it's saving time. Also, beyond this being saving time, we're on to episode or case 2. Wait. I really already... Alright. Trying to talk in voices makes my throat be parched very quickly, it seems, because I've already gone through what I had in terms of water here. At the very least, this is a good point for a minuscule break, which is already the third break I take right now. And by that I mean, for me usually going for 4 hours, that is 3 breaks too much, or at least 2 breaks too much. Still, I will absolutely need more water if I want to continue, so I'll be back in a minute, and hopefully that will be the last break. Right, I'm back, and despite not being able to just grab a bottle, but having to actually get one, I'm back with more water and more options. So, let's continue on, and start with episode 2, The Captive Turnabout. Episode 2, The Captive Turnabout. Well, that's nice and ominous. Pling, pling. That is unfortunate. It appears a certain night has fallen. Dog? March 27th, 10:16 a.m. Detention Center Visitor Room. Still no sign of them, huh? Yeah. How long do they intend to keep us waiting? No, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm sure the guard will bring him in any second now. The killing of Bastian Rook. It's been 2 days since the incident at the park, and today we are paying a visit to the detention center. Our aim, of course, is to interview Bronco Knight, who has been charged with the murder. His trial is due to start tomorrow, and I'm to be the prosecutor behind the bench. Wait, Edgeworth is supposed to be the prosecutor there. Well, also, this isn't even the first time he's the prosecutor for something like that. He even has been accused of things in some of those cases, so... Isn't this a conflict? Not directly a conflict of interest, but this would, I believe, having personal involvement in a case is usually something that is an immediate out for, well, any form of lawyer. Well, we are we are not quite in either place where it is normal here. This is the most Japanese form of California we have ever seen, so maybe that's why. However, well, let's continue. What's taking so long? You there, what's going on? I don't know, sir. We've got a situation. It's Knight. He's been killed. What? Killed? In the detention center? Come on, Mr. Edgeworth. What are we waiting for? Right. Guard, take us to the scene of the crime at once. Yes, sir. So, it didn't happen in the holding cells, but surely that was where he was going to be held. What's the hold up? The crime scene's this way.
Very good taken us, doesn't this Dolly too?
A prison proper, yes. You mean those other cells aren't part of the prison? Not exactly, no. These are the detention center holding cells. That's where the defendants are kept while they are awaiting trial. The area beyond this door serves a rather different purpose.
Yeah, it's where the people who are convicted serve out their time.
I suppose you could say it's the last place the great thief should ever want to be. I've unlocked it, sir. Please follow me. That's a rather rustic construction. That's Knight, alright, but he's dead. How could this have happened? How did he wind up inside a prison proper? March 27th, 10:32 AM. Prison workshop. This is horrible. How did Mr. Knight get himself murdered? I can hardly believe it myself, but there can be no doubting the evidence of our own eyes. What's he doing here? I thought he was being held in the detention center, no? He was. He must have been. His trial hadn't even begun yet. Law states that until convicted suspects are to be kept in cells separate from the main prison. Only those who have been found guilty are sent to the prison proper. There's no way Knight should have been in here.
Maybe he wandered his way over here?
That door was easy enough to open that someone like Knight would be able to just wander. That would be a very bad prison, would it? The detention center and the prisoners separated not only by two heavy doors, but also a lengthy corridor. That would have been a very long way to wander, especially for a detainee. Yeah, that's not exactly how it should be, though. There's another connecting point, isn't there? I suppose we'd better take a closer look at Light's body. We'll need to examine the scene of the crime carefully if we want to get to the bottom of this. Begin investigation. Prison workshop. So, for everyone seeing this, considering I am not quite good at finding proper places to pull clips from, and honestly, I don't really want to toot my own horn. So, if anyone finds a thing that's worthy of a clip, please do so. Well, let's investigate. So what do we have here? Time to inspect every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Indeed. This area is too big to take in all at once. Fortunately, I can use right stick to look further up or down. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. So, let's investigate. Looks like a pulley of some kind. Maybe the prisoners use it for work? I suppose so, yes. Okay, so I know you are going to say this, but absolutely not, Kay. You are not permitted to swing on that rope. Ah, I knew it. Should have known you were being serious. Weird having something like this in a prison, huh? Cage inside a cage. Technically, Kay, prison isn't made isn't made up of cages, but cells. What's the difference? No offense, Mr. Wolf, but you've got to look at the basic nature of things more. Yes, the basic nature of an investigation is the pursuit of accurate facts and information. Whoop. A whip. Is Francesca here? These tarps are rather colorful. Colorful tarps have been added. They can stand out in a room like this, don't they? They certainly don't look like they belong in a prison. Look, there's a whip on top of them. You know who that reminds me of, right? Hey, maybe it's actually hers. Maybe she left it here. Not a chance. She and her whip are attached at the wrist. Trust me. Honestly, yeah, that's something I understand. So, ropes. There was a rope near Knight's body too. Speaking of which, what I see is my super stealthy rope escape trick. Thanks, but I'll let you know when I'm in need of saving. Tch, he seems genuinely disappointed. Doesn't seem like there's that much over here. So, what do we have here? This part of the floor is covered in dirt.
You know what that means, sir? Footprints.
Too many footprints, unfortunately. We'll need a specialist to identify them.
Guess we just gotta wait till forensics get here.
Yes, and in the meantime, if you could refrain from treading all over it.
Slap up any of the old jacket dirt. Huh? Good point, Mr. Edgeworth. Thanks.
My concern was for the footprints, not your jacket, detective. Well, let's take a look at this guy. Bronco Knight, killed the day before his court date. You'd better take a closer look. The body's partially covered by a dirt-stained tarp. There's a rope on top of it. Was Knight tied up with the rope somehow? Rope data jotted down. Once again, it wouldn't be a stream of mine if I wouldn't suddenly have to yawn. This is certainly not a habit I wanted to have, and it will probably haunt me for a while. Look at all that red stuff! Yes, I'd say that's blood. So, a bloody tarp. Keep looking around. There's bound to be more secrets to uncover. I'm sure of it. Yes. Yeah, his neck brace is soaked with blood from the hole in his neck. I would assume that's the cause of death, and that it was probably instantaneous. He wouldn't have had the chance to cry out for help. There's a small cut on his scalp too. Was he struck with something?
Maybe fell and hit his head after he was stabbed in the throat?
It's possible. It's too early to say with any certainty. Okay, you have your camera with you, correct? Could have lent it to the detective so that he can photograph the body.
Sure thing. All yours, Scummy. Back. Alright, here we go. This glass sure a mess though, huh?
indeed. We appear to be covered in dirt. Mr. Knight's body has been jotted down. Well, my foot fell asleep and I just stepped on it. The feeling of 1,000 needles suddenly is interesting.
That is like me when it comes to laundry.
It would be a grave error to think that anybody else could be quite like you, Detective. Oh, that brings into question a few interesting things. The tub being this bloody, but no discernible wound anywhere on his lower body. That makes me think that he was transported covered in that tarp and, well, that could have been the reason he was only found here. Now, what's that ring? Huh. There's something on his finger.
Let's take a closer look, Miss Edgeworth. It's a ring! And an expensive looking one at that.
Don't even think about it, Kay.
What? I didn't say anything.
Well, a ring. A ring-a-ding-ding ring. A chessboard. Well, he was a chess player, but why would that be here?
Is that?
Oh, I've seen one of us in your office, Mr. Edgeworth.
Sure you have, Detective. It's a pocket chess set. For victims, I imagine. Makes sense. He loved chess after all.
Yeah, it would be would have been a good way to pass the time.
But how did it get here? Why does it lay down there? That is something we now need to find out. Dun, doo, 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 doo. An oil-stained or dirt or oil-stained glove. A rubber glove. Yep, just one though. I should examine it in more detail. Blood on one side, oil on the other, it seems. And apparently for inmate use. Inmate use only. I guess that means...
That must be one of the prisoners who was using it, right?
Yes, you would certainly imagine so. Oh, curious. So, there's blood on one side and oil on the other. The fingers are covered in blood on this side. I think we can safely assume that this glove was dropped sometime after Knight's blood had been spilled.
We can? How come?
Because, had it been on the floor when the pool of blood was forming, then the blood would have flown around it, but not underneath it.
Oh, meaning that...
Sorry?
Oh, meaning that we only a band of blood around the edges of the fingers and not all over the back.
Assuming the glove was discarded after the blood had been pulled around the body.
Maybe our murderer ditched it after they did the deed.
It's certainly a possibility. At the very least, whoever it was that dropped it must have seen the body. Isn't there even more on that? Well, apparently it's considered irrelevant that it's oiled on the other side. You there?
Yes, sir?
Have you seen that glove before? Yes, sir. The prisoners wear them for work. Strange, though. Prisoners issued with those gloves are under strict orders to keep them in their cells, sir. They aren't allowed to take them out without permission, and we always check. I suppose that would explain why there aren't any other gloves in the workshop. So, they keep track of those things in detail. Could be very much an interesting conundrum. Is there anything else around here? So far, it appears that, well, not exactly much more here. Let's just take a look again, because I'm stubborn like that. There's mud all over it. Maybe the prisoners were making mud pies? Wish I could have joined in. I love making mud pies. Not anywhere near my crime scene. You are not. Wait, did I look into it? Well, looking into this case or glove doesn't yield anything. So, look around and find out. What's with all the weird equipment? I'm not sure, but I don't see anything particularly suspicious here. Smells weird though. Kinda musky, like wet fur. I didn't know you had such a keen nose. There's nothing special really, except when it comes to sniffing out treasure. Remind me to seal all my valuables away in airtight containers. Away, Miss Hedgeworth. I'd never steal any of your stuff. But you would happily steal someone else's. I'm not sure that's entirely reassuring. So, with all of that, this, while it may not necessarily be a kennel, seems to be a place where maybe animals are worked with. Take a look at that. It's a sink. Doesn't seem to contain any useful clues. Nope, no whiff of treasure either. You do know we are not actually looking for treasure, right? These seem to be a list of prisoner reservations for the workshop. What are all these numbers, Miss Edgeworth? Prisoner numbers, I'd imagine. I'd hate to be given a number like that. I rather agree, people are meant to have names. I'd much rather be called Great Thief or the Second Yatakarase. Alright, no name for you then, I guess. So we could still talk with Gummy and with our officer here. And also, we can make a minuscule break on account of something being wrong with me. So, here I am again. I don't know what's wrong with me and I hope I will not have to leave again. So, let's talk with the guard. Anything out of the ordinary to report, officer? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There is this one thing. Go on. There's a body in the workshop, sir.
He's right. That's definitely out of the ordinary.
It's also why we are here. If anything else occurs to you, you know where to find me. So, anything with Gumshoe?
Yes, sir.
So the victim.
Arrested for murder on the afternoon of the 25th and killed in the morning of the 27th. Talk about instant karma. Never would have thought our perp would turn into a victim himself.
Yes, I don't like this at all.
Don't think it was that ice cream guy, do you, sir? I just seen his face, right? Maybe he couldn't afford to let him live.
Shallowly killer, do you mean? No. If this were his doing, he would surely left a calling card. And besides, Knight isn't the only one who knows what he looks like. We do too.
Oh, yeah. And I guess we're still alive, so...
So, this is a high-security facility. I just don't understand how it was even possible. So, the prison.
Guess it makes sense having the detention center and the prison in the same building.
Not necessarily, but it is convenient.
Means you can share the visitor room.
Indeed. It's an unusual design, but it's certainly convenient for anyone visiting.
Yeah, but then... why have two different areas in the first place?
For the two different classes of detainees, of course. There's pre-trial and there's post-trial. Two facilities may be housed in the same building, in this case, but they are actually quite different.
Well, all I knew is that they were both cramped and dark, and don't let you leave when you want.
Perhaps spending a night in each would help clarify the differences between them.
No, I'm good, so thanks.
I guess it's time for logic, considering that there doesn't seem to be anything left here. We only have a top. Let's see if the tops fit. At least that's true. These tops have a pretty distinctive design, in fact. It's the same design as the bloody top around Mr. Knight's body. Yes, you took... Oh, that was K, wasn't it? Yes, it was K. Yes, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Hehe, that'll teach you to be so careless, Mr. Edgeworth.
Like stealing candy from a baby, she is now stealing words out of our tongue.
You need to keep your treasures close so when there are great thieves around.
I thought you were on a sabbatical. The bloody top has been jotted down. Not a bad bit of evidence gathered.
Nothing can stop us when we are on the hunt together, right, Gummy?
You betcha. We're unstoppable, our regular Three Musketeers.
Let's not get carried away, Detective. There's one thing we still haven't found.
What do you mean, sir?
What's missing from this crime scene? Well, not a single piece of a murder weapon, or anything that could have caused, or be plausible to have caused damage. I see no sign of a murder weapon anywhere.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
Come now, detective. These are basic investigative principles we are talking about here.
Yeah, guys. Sorry, sir.
Don't worry, Gummy. It hadn't crossed my mind either.
A fact that hardly puts my mind at ease, Kay. Items that could prove even potentially lethal are strictly controlled within a prison. After all, we wouldn't want the inmates getting their hands on them, would we? Which means acquiring a murder weapon would be hard enough, let alone leaving a scene with one.
Oh yeah, nice thinking, Mr. Edgeworth.
What was the murder weapon, and where has it gone? The answer to these questions may be the key to figuring out what happened here. Huh? Huh? Didn't know the guy had a whole entourage. Oh, excuse-moi. But this is a crime. This is a scene, not a crime, right? You're... Wait a second. Are you... Oh, no way. Those piercing eyes, that furrowed brow. Mr. Fender. It's been far too long. I know, right? But even after all this time, I'd know that D-bro anywhere. That neckwear up. Manfred von Karma, the man, the legend. Gotta say, I didn't expect to see you here. What? Considering there are about 30 years or 30 to 40 years difference in Manfred von Karma's age to Edgeworth's age, that may be considered an insult. Hold it.
What talking about, Paul? This is Mr.
Well, what was that?
This is Mr. Edgeworth, not that old geezer.
Detective, police.
Edgeworth? Wow!
Guess that explains the fresh face. Can't blame a guy for mixing you two up though. You're a spitting image of the old devil in his day. I see you haven't changed. How many years has it been? Man, good question. But who's counting, eh? Been away traveling so long I lost track. You know how it is. But you know what I do remember? You betraying everything you are supposed to stand for. Oh, where did that come from? Where did that come from? And who are you anyway? This is Eddie Fender. He's a defense attorney. Eddie Fender. Yeah, Eddie Fender. Enchanté. As they say, Fender's the name and defending's the game. I'm a bit of an ace attorney.
Detective Dick Gumshoe.
And I'm Kay Faraday, great thief. I am on a sabbatical at the moment though.
A great thief, that's so romantic. Trashy, if you will.
Right. It's nice to finally meet someone who gets it. I'm looking to expand the franchise actually.
I even made
signing up super simple.
Oh, sounds awesome. I'd love to come hang with you guys, if you'll have me.
Sorry, I should have also mentioned that it's girls only. And they have to be super fun and super cool and...
Hey, totally get it. No hard feelings, yeah? Come on, bring it in.
You've got to be kidding.
My bad, my bad. I'm just so used to how they do things elsewhere, you know? And why are you here, Mr. Fender? Whoops, I almost forgot, this is your scene. Giving the defense out is strategy number 1 in the Von Karma playbook, after all, isn't it? Hold it.
Aye. Quit with it, with all the Von Karma stuff, pal. What gives?
Detective, calm yourself. His attitude is unfortunately understandable.
This?
I take it you are Mr. Knight's attorney. Guilty as charged, Your Honor. Well, I was supposed to be anyway. So he was planning to represent Knight if his client hadn't been murdered. You and I would have faced off against each other in court. I'd better see what he has to say for himself. I believe I've chosen the wrong game for today. Why is this game so this draining? I believe, well, about a month ago, sooner or later, I already said that for some reason Ace Attorney investigations almost feel like a vampire on me. Well, at least Mr. Fender does have a rather good style of music for himself. Well, let's ask him about his current case. So, the victim asked you to represent him. Sure did. We're supposed to have a little chat today. As was I. But the guard showed up instead and told us that his body had been found. Huh. I'm as bummed about it as you. Even brought him some weenies to cheer him up. Mr. Fender, you know you can't bring food into the prison. Oh yeah. Well, as you know, want some? Little advice I picked up on my travels, so Moorish. No, thank you. And you do you. What are you doing here anyhow? Don't tell me you wanted to hear Knight's side. Von Karma was always more of a convicted defendant at all costs guy. He didn't teach you that. That was a long time ago. If you say so. Sure, you don't want any weenies? No, thank you. Oh, the victim. Have you met with your client previously? Yes, indeed, Your Honor. Just yesterday, in fact. The Bronzer called me the minute he was arrested. Sounded really freaked out, man. Oh yeah, mentioned your little performance too. According to him, you really made a nuisance of yourself. Not a kind of word was spoken, I'm sure. Well, sticks and stones and all of that. Boy, did he not like you. Trash-talked you something fierce. Guess I didn't join in the fun, though. Fun? How dare you, Mr. Fender? Line up, kid. I'm kind of a fixture in the visitor's room here. And I don't think I ever had that much of a gas. That much of a gas? That is, well, that's a phrase I don't know yet.
Oh, so you come here a lot?
Hey. Then you're getting in the wrong ideas, little sis. I'm never on the wrong side of the boss. Just happen to know someone who is. A visitor's room is usually where where I'm at, but this isn't exactly my first time in the clink either. In which case, I'd best ask him what he knows about this room. So, tell me, what do you know about the scene of the crime? Huh. Oh, this room? No, dude. What do you know about it? I'll give you 3 choices. Well, I'm sure I've seen the morgue. Is it a morgue? Well, it does have a dead body in it. Oh, I completely misinterpreted what he asked. A dead body equals morgue, am I right? Now, let's see what the answer here says, shall we? Oh no, you've got it wrong. It's actually a workshop. So, all the options he gave me were wrong. How infantile. The cons come from performing various duties. They can learn new skills to bag some qualifications for when they are back on the street. I see. And how is access to this room controlled? Who has the key? Charlotte Edgeworth? I don't have all the answers. My man over there probably does very right, compadre. Yes, sir. The workshops aren't locked with physical keys. The doors are fitted with sensors instead. What kind of sensors? Inmates are issued with special bracelets, sir. When they walk through the workshop door, the sensor checks their bracelet. And if they're not supposed to be there, ding-a-ling-a-ling, an alarm sounds. If they let it ring for too long, then they get a real shock, if you know what I mean. And if they try to break or remove the bracelet, a shock 3 times worse than that.
What? That's brutal.
I guess they need to ensure that the inmates follow the rules. Well, that sounds a bit excessive. If I wish to pass through the door like this one, prisoners need to be accompanied by a guard. We disable the sensors for them and let them in. You got all of that? Have any prisoners used this workshop today? No, sir. No one's been in here for days. I know if they had. No, so no prisoners have entered, let alone used this workshop today. Floor sensors data has been jotted down. Which means there's a contradiction in this crime scene. Namely, there's something here that shouldn't be. Yeah, person. Also, someone dead. You'd usually assume that dead people in a prison is rarely where they should be. I'll take another quick look over the crime scene and employ my power of deduction to solve this mystery. Well, Mr. Knight's body and a door sensor. Though Mr. Knight does not have a bracelet, that may very well be important. And yet, I do not see anything. Is there something I can deduce? Well, let's hope both wrists are okay. Could this be related to evidence somehow? well, it would potentially be related to the door sensors. However, apparently, supposedly at least, it does not. It's either that, rubber glove. If nobody has used it, and those are usually issued to the prisoners and they are to take care of it, and nobody has entered through the door today, where does that glove come from? Eureka! Prisoners aren't able to come and go from this workshop as they please. The door sensor would detect their bracelets and the alarm would sound. What's more, according to the guard, no prisoners were authorized to be in this room all today. Yet, here we have a rubber glove of the kind issued to inmates. This is a clear contradiction.
Oh, where did that glove come from, sir?
I don't know, detective. Not yet, anyway. All I know for now is that the glove is a valuable piece of evidence. You, apart from prisoners and guards, who else has access to this room? No one, sir. This is a prison after all. Prisoners and guards are pretty much all there is. Mr. Fender? Ah, come on, don't play us like that, friend. We both know that's not true. You know as well as I do that prisoners and guards aren't the only ones who come in here. Huh? Do you mean? But sir, there. Let me guess. He's talking about the dogs that are most likely also getting some maintenance here. Well. Where does this itching ear come from? Well, Mr. Fender, would you care to get to the point? Who exactly are you talking about? What? You didn't have a pair of peepers in the head of yours? You didn't see them on the way in? Running about in the corridors, chilling with their butts. I bet you moseyed on about the door right now. You'll trip over one of them before you've taken a step.
Listen, pal. Oh, we've just about had enough of your balloony.
Take a chill pill, big guy. I'm on your side. You know, for such a white fella, you have a very narrow mind.
What did you?
Hold it!
Detective?
Sorry, sir.
Look, just follow me, okay? Seeing is believing, isn't that what they say? March 27th, 11:06 AM, prison corridor. Here. This is no ordinary slammer. Here humans share their space with some special friends. How the hell? I mean, prison dogs I would understand, and therapy animals are certainly something that could potentially be present in a prison, but that appears to be a bit excessive. Also, that's one chunker of a bunny there. Animals? Yep. Furred and feathered fellas of all shapes and sizes. God filled me in on how it came about. Seems they decided to try a little experiment in animal therapy a few years back. because I assigned a critter each, a buddy to help keep their spirits up.
Really? Wow! That sounds like so much fun.
Plus, inmates can even earn pet care qualifications if they go through with job training or with the animals.
Oh, that must be what the equipment in the workshop is for.
You got it. Room set up specifically for that training and stuff.
So, when you said somebody else could have been at the scene of the crime,
Exactamundo, big guy. I was talking about these guys.
hold on. That just means you are still talking baloney. I wouldn't, what would an animal do with a rubber glove?
Good question. All I'm saying is that it was possible. The rest is Mr. Prosecutor's problem.
Mr. Nodrasta, if you want me to arrest this piece of baloney, just say the word.
Let me get this straight. Are you saying these animals can wander freely around the prison? You know the sensors on the doors. They detect prisoners' bracelets and sound the alarm when somebody goes to walkabout. Well, the furry friends, it's the other way around. They're fitted with microchips that open the doors right up. They are. Uh-huh. They're planted just under the skin around the shoulders. Big needle, quick job, voila.
What? That did hurt.
Nope, they don't feel a thing. That's what they tell me. Anyway, now, where was I? Ah, right. So the point is, we're not the baddies here, so there's no reason to punish them. It's ironic, really. Here in this institution, where the humans are caged, the animals are free to roam to their heart's content. That's an interesting piece of data. They are not completely free though. They can't leave the prison proper, for one thing. No sense on that big mother of a door, you see? Ah. Huh. What's that tinkling sound?
What?
Big dog. Also, that's no ordinary dog. That's a guide dog's harness. Does this guy serve a blind person? You just look at this thing. Is that a bell around its neck? Well, it explains the sound, I suppose.
Mr. Edgeworth, were you seriously trying to stare down?
I refuse to lose to a dog. Oh, right. Edgeworth does have a bit of an unhealthy obsession with being the one who blinks last.
Not for nothing, sir. At your dog handling skills cut out some work. Leave it up, bro. We know how to treat him right. Come on now. Come to Gummy. Huh, man. Not by a dog.
That dog was certainly very different to the other animals. And this seemed to have a real thing against me, and only me. Alrighty then. You've met the menagerie. What's next?
Guess we'd better interview some of the witnesses, right, sir?
Indeed. We need more information regarding what was happening around this time the body was found.
Let's start with that guy. Hey, you were in the cell.
That's one hell of a bro you have here, buddy.
Ignored again.
Hello. We were wondering if you might be able to tell us anything about this morning's incident.
Is anyone else a little afraid of this guy?
Not a big talker, eh? It's alright, man. I'm on your side. Let's start with a handshake, huh? Maybe a hug to break the ice. Seconds. Out. What's that supposed to mean? I get it, man. Not everybody's a hugging type. I'm cool with that. Round 1. 10 reps each. What is this man up to? I better see what he has to say for himself. Your name? From the blue corner, it's Rocco D259 Caserato. Don't mind if I keep moving, do you, boss? Fighting can't let his heart rate drop, you see? It doesn't look like there's any danger of that. Don't you worry, you'll lose much weight doing all of that. Gotta make weight before a fight, boss. Won't even make it into the ring if you don't.
Sir, wait, I get it. You've gotta be a boxer, right?
Was, back in the day. But it's good to stay fighting fit. Leastways, that's how I see it.
So, is the bear part of your training too? Hehehe. Looks kinda like an apron. It's so cute.
Ain't nothing cute about Teddy. Guess my partner, see? This here polar bear keeps me on my toes. Seems to have loosened up a little. Oh, it's my chance. Where were you and Teddy at the time of the incident? Come on, boss. Ain't no stoolie. And I don't know nothing nohow. I'll be the judge of that. Please answer the question. You punch drunk or something, boss told you? I don't know sip. So you won't play ball.
There's only one thing to do, huh, Miss Edgeworth?
Indeed. The more he protects his ignorance, the more certain I am he's hiding something. But let's see exactly what you do and don't know, shall we, Mr. Caserato? It's a game of chess, I see. Though I feel like something's truly wrong with me here today. So, sorry to cut this one short, but in this case at least I'll sadly need to cut the entire thing off a lot earlier than I wanted to. Hopefully I may be able to recuperate and spring back with power. However, with whatever's wrong with me, that may not exactly be something I can do today. I knew that Ace Attorney Investigations is surprisingly draining on me, that this is literally just completely ridiculous on how much it drains me. So, just 2 hours or 4 I wanted to go, but it is what it is for today. Hopefully tomorrow will be better. After all, I don't want to leave you hanging, neither with Ace Attorney nor with anything else. But at the very least, that's it for today with, well, when it comes to my stream at least. So let's see, is there anyone I can send you to? Seems I'm a little early for all of that, so today it seems I'll not rate anyone. In that case, for now at least, have a nice evening or day or whenever you see this. And with that, I am out. I've been Nodrasta and that has been Ace Attorney Investigations after a while now again.